Hey, Shalom, Meshala. I'm going to start off as always by giving no praise to Yahweh Shem Yahshua B'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to brothers doing the work in truth while sincerity. Yeah, this one comes off back. So on Saturday, before camp, I was speaking with a brother. And the brother basically said the point that the apostles have made, reiterated the point that the apostles had made about how, if this was, some, so-called Chinese, people, that this was, getting shot by the police or whatever, what have you, the Chinese government would, be saying, yo, well, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. They would have something to say about it, right? And earlier on today, one of the guys I know, well, he was like, yeah, man, there's no one to speak up. And I was like, well, hey, it is what it is, right? And then I read Iran, and they were doing it mockingly, as in because Donald Trump had said this, right, to the leaders of Iran, do not kill your protesters, right? But they in return have said Iran calls on US to stop violence against its people, right? Basically, taking the piss, man, right? So basically you have all of these, heathen nations that can come up and protect their own people, right? But, JK ain't got no one who's going to stand up for them. Why? Because they stand for this kingdom, right? Because who are they asking for justice? They're asking, they're asking their oppressor for justice. Whereas you have all of these other nations that, that will, quote, protect their people, right, quote unquote. Now, our people, they don't understand that we've got the greatest protection in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but guess what? They don't seek him, right? They don't seek him. Once again, they're going to their own oppressor, begging for justice, right? And, just, just to take the piss, right? CNN International National basically put out this from China, man, which it's funny coming from these nations, and which once again colleagues, they were speaking on how the West is no longer basically saying the West is no longer the beacon of light that it used to be, right? For once again, you got Iran getting on America, you got China of all people, right? It's a Chinese virus, right? They said racial discrimination against minorities is a social ill in the U.S. China's foreign ministry has condemned the police brutality and racism in the U.S. and says there are serious problems that need addressing. Right now, if you remember, these are the same guys that were, you see that they're throwback to when China kicked Africans out of their own homes, confiscated their passports because they were alleged carriers of virus, right? And like this, I forgot when this was, but this wasn't not too long ago, right? So hey, it's funny, man. It's funny, right? It's the second Ezra 15:10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, right? Because I'm watching what's going on and observing, making my own personal judgments of this current situation. And the way I'm looking at it as a man, I'm like, yo, these jakes are being set up, man. These jakes, this whole situation is set up. That CNN arrest, of that Jake, that was, like I said, in my own humble opinion, that was a setup, man. Right? Why? Because they're trying to stoke them fires, man. Right? So that the king of Babylon, right, can do what he got to do, man. Right? But either way, we're okay. We're happy with what's going on, because why? It's the fulfillment of prophecy. Right? Did the Spirit not give Apostle Tahar the name, the year of prophecy for 2020? And what a year it has been. It's 2nd Ezra 9. Right? It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs past which I've told thee before. Right? So measure the times diligently. How do we measure the times? We read the scriptures, read the prophecies. Right? We say, okay, cool. In the end days, this is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Right? And the more of those things that are ticked off, that's when we're like, okay, cool. Yo, it's time. Right? It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right? So once again, we're seeing these things happening and coming to pass. And we're like, look, the Lord's coming back, the Lord's coming back, the Lord's coming back. Right? And as more of these things, happen, right, the happier we get. Right, it says, therefore, when they shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? Because you have an uproars of the people over this case, right, all over the world, man. You had a protest here in London near the U.S. Embassy. I saw, reports that there's going to be a protest, or there was a protest in Dublin, Ireland, near the U.S. Embassy once again, right? But like I said, as I was reading just here, right, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Right, Jake are sleepwalking into a trap, man. I said, in my own humble opinion, with this whole thing, and there certain Jakes they gonna do what they gonna do, man. Right, because a number of Jakes, large majority of our people over there in the land of America, they ain't gonna make it anyway. Right. But it says of the elect, but I'll bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. Right, so America's modern day Egypt, man, pursuant to Revelation 11 and 8, right? And it's being hit with plagues, man. Right, it started off with the corona, right? Now you got these Jakes, protesting and all of this, that, and the other. Right, and the thing as well, man, you got a load of these, EEs, man. They be protesting, and then the thing is, it's not genuine because people are being pressured into it. You be seeing things on the social saying, if you're not if you're silent or if you're not doing anything, right, then you're, basically saying we'll remember. So people being compelled, right, to be joining in these protests, and they even down, right. This is Job 20 and 10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Right, these Edomites, man, they're trying to please Jake, man. Like they're trying to make it seem like, yeah, I'm down for the cause, protect these people, right? Black Lives Matter, man. Once again, it was with Akim in the weekend, man, and that shit's cringy as all hell, man. It's cringy as all hell. Look, man, just enjoy your birthright. Do what you gotta do, your birthright, man. This is your kingdom, right? Because we ain't gonna be holding no protest for you in our kingdom, right? And what does the scripture say also? It says Psalms 55:21 says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they drawn swords, right? So the words of his mouth are smooth and butter. So he'll speak nice to you. He'll be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. But look, he don't like you. He don't care about you. So why are these people all up in these protests, man? Right? Though your protesting ain't gonna achieve nothing, man. Because why? This ain't our rest. This is, it's not even what I was gonna say, but through the Spirit. Right? Micah 2:10. Right? It says, and rise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right? So for us, we're excited because we know this is leading to this is another prophecy being ticked off towards the end of this man's kingdom, right? It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right, so this place ain't our rest, which is why we ain't out there protesting. That ain't our job, right? Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, we have been protesting, starting off with the apostles on down. We have been protesting, the right way, the way that really gets to Esau, right? Because all that's happening right now is you got these Edomites in the suburbs just saying, look at these niggas, right, burning their own neighborhoods, right? Which once again, personally, as I think there's a lot of agent provocateurs in that, right? To then justify a heavy hand, right, coming off from the king of Babylon, right? It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with the sword destruction, right? Because these Jakes, what are they asking for? They're asking to be treated as equals in the land of wickedness. So what's going to happen, right? Let's say Jake get treated with equality, right? That means they'll have, same access to jobs, right? So they're doing these jobs. They're going to be around Edomites. What are they going to be doing around Edomites? They're going to be learning of Edomitish ways, right? They go and start doing Edomitish things. They go and start doing orgies and swingers parties and homosexuality or abortion and delving more into those sorts of things. Right? Especially if you start becoming a what would you call it? What's this word I'm looking for? Career oriented, right? So you're like, now, I want to look, for my career, so I'm going to have an abortion, this, that, and the other. That's all that's going to happen. You're treated as an equal in this man's kingdom. You're just going to delve more into wickedness because that's what the scriptures say, right? This is Malachi 1 and 4. Right, it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return to build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. Right, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation, righteous anger forever. Right, so wherever this man is a border of wickedness, man. Right, his dwelling places are all about wickedness, man. Right. So you're all out there protesting to become one and equal with this man. Look, man, that will be your destruction. So which is why we ain't out there protesting, in this carnal way. We're out there protesting, in the way that was actually going to bring about change, right? This is, what was I going to get? Let me get this. Speak now. Second Ezra 15. It's not the one I was thinking. I wanted Joel. Let's see what Joel. I wanted Joel. That's funny. But I'll grab that as well because it's a precept anyway. So this is Joel 2. So blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Right, let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Right, so that's what we've been told to do. We've been told to blow a trumpet, tell our people and the nations, right, tell our people to get right, to tell the nations that what their judgment is, right. And once again, you've got the some from the apostles of Daniel, the Israelites saying, look, man, y'all better be careful, man. You're heading down a dangerous path set to you by the devil. And the apostles were speaking about that at the camp as well, on the way to camp when they were still in the car, right? Saying how Jake just do as they're told. That's why they're out there protesting, because they've been told to protest. They don't think for themselves. That's why it says in Psalm 64, right? One of my favorite points, scripture says that Esau has accomplished a diligent search, right? And the bit I always harp on is this psychology, man, this ability to control people's actions, right? Esau's a master of that. He knows what he's doing, right? So he's basically, created this, whether it was a setup as in the killing, I believe he's dead, right? But whether the killing was a setup or whatever, what have you, or whether they've used the situation that has, presented itself, right? What has come off of it, right, is basically a way for these devils to funnel Jake into a situation where it's going to be their own damn hurt, right? And once again, they ain't got no one in a carnal sense, right, to look to and hope, which is why Jake is done, because they don't see any other way other than for the way that Esau presents them, right? Which is why we must read this. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh, right? So they ain't seeking to the Lord, man. They just want to follow down. They just want to trust Esau. That's really, they just want approval from Esau, right? They want to create a new world in Esau's kingdom. But that ain't going to work, man. Why? Because Esau's kingdom is going to be destroyed, right? The only thing Jake should be doing, and hoping for is true justice, right? And only how Hashem Yahshua can give us true justice, right? This is Zephaniah 3 and 8, right? And it says this, which is another reason why we ain't out there doing a madness, right? It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh. And this is the justice until the day that I rise up to the prey, right? Look, man, if the king of Babylon gave the order, look, man, anyone out, shoot to kill policy. If the king of Babylon said, look, shoot to kill policy, who's going to fight for you, man? Who's going to fight for you? You look at, once again, you flip that round to say it was a group of Chinese students in America, and the American government, deployed a shoot to kill policy. Yo, that's war. That's war. But who does Jake have? What, Ghana? What's Ghana gonna do? Nigeria? What's Nigeria gonna do? But Yahweh? What's Yahweh gonna do? Yahweh's gonna look. Let me read it. So for my determination, the word there is shapat, right? Which means judgment. Well, mashapat, right? Verdict, right? Judgment, right? The judgment is, right, that the nations will be gathered, right, that I may assemble the kingdoms to put upon them mine indignation, which is righteous anger, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. This is the Most High's judgment, man, right, that there will be this third world war, that America will be completely and utterly destroyed for all the blood that has been shed therein. Jake out there, protest. I bet Jake don't even know why they're out there protesting, man. Some will be out there for George Floyd. Some will be out there for, all the different. Look, man. No matter what happens, for as long as you're in this man's system, he's gonna kill you. He's gonna let's say he puts a mandate, no more cop killings, right? We don't do that anymore. He will find another way. He's still pushing abortion in your neighborhoods. He's still pushing the guns and that demonic music in your neighborhood so that you kill yourselves. The drugs. And that's another thing. You still killing yourselves, right? Let me read this since I pulled it out. And Second Ezra 15, and once as behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I'll put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, right, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, right. So we are, we are speaking the words of the Lord, right. When we speak, it's really the Lord speaking through us, right. Once again, I don't know if the apostles on down. So once the Spirit said, call this the year of prophecy, and it has been the year of prophecy. Right, so as always, Lord's word, I was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.